This is a tall ship. Like many tall ships in our modern era, she's a reproduction of a historical ship. She's an 18th century brig named Lady Washington. That's Martha right there, looking forward with hope for a brighter horizon like the nation she helped create. Her decks and bulkheads are Douglas fir. They are lovingly cared for in a daily ritual called the chore bill. Her masts stand tall over various ports of call in Washington, Oregon, and even California. Her present mission is to promote vocational, educational, and ambassadorial activities and experiences that promote and preserve the maritime history of Grays Harbor, the Pacific Northwest, and the nation, all while serving the needs of her own community. Her home port, Aberdeen. She's the state ship of our 42nd state, Washington, a living symbol of Washington's history of pioneering exploration. This is the governor of Washington, Jay Inslee, sharing this maritime history with his family. Before the whirlwind of activities begin with the boarding of students and passengers, the crew take a moment to shoot the breeze and trade the latest scuttlebutt, while playing with the ship's dog, a mini Australian shepherd named Stella. She's 7 months old and already an old salt. Now come the passengers. Men, women, children, ranging from the very young to the very old, all from different parts of the country, sometimes even the world, all from different walks of life, brought together by a single common interest: our maritime history. The passengers are given a safety brief while the brow is removed and the main yard is braced square. In the days of sail, a ship and her crew had to wait for favorable winds and tides to leave the dock. But today's Lady Washington is outfitted with a diesel engine, as required by the United States Coast Guard. She uses it to maneuver out into Commencement Bay. And then the call goes out. Hands to set the main topsail. Clew up, sheet home, and the sail is unfurled. The crew haul away on the halyard, raising the main top yard, using only manpower and the desire to excel at the task at hand. Our task, stretch out the main topsail and catch the wind, lady's primary source of propulsion. The ship begins to move under a stiff Puget Sound breeze. Wind billows in the sails and the ship cuts through the water. Two large gray ships of the United States merchant fleet look across the bay at a distant ancestor as they wait for the call to transport material and personnel across the globe at a moment's notice. Today is a special day in Commencement Bay. It's the schooner race. Schooners from all over the coastal waters of our country come here to compete. There goes the Zodiac. Hove 2, making a bid to overtake a rival schooner. Our Lady isn't so nimble a ship as a schooner, and soon we have to turn back for Tacoma. We head into the wind, blowing the sails back against the masts. The forestaysail is hauled up and the ship comes about, and wind fills the sails again. We head back to disembark the passengers, and now it's time to begin our transit to Aberdeen. Once again on the move to our home port, Aberdeen. It's only 90 miles away, but in an 18th century ship built for hauling tea and furs, it might as well be 1,000. It'll take Our Lady 2.5 days, 5 days counting a 3-day stop in Port Orchard for fuel and supplies. It'll take one of those days just to transit through the Straits of Juan de Fuca. For us, the straits are calm, peaceful, serene. We pass Seattle, the Emerald City. This dashing fellow is keeping a lookout for other ships. Vessels under sail always have the right of way, but the law of gross tonnage also applies, and the goal is to keep ship handling from becoming a contact sport. These crew members are setting the mainstaysail. We stop and take on a couple gallons of fuel. After we've paid the man his $2,000, we are underway again. The crew turn to. This crewman passes a riding stopper on a halyard to keep it from slipping as it's belayed to the pin. Hands to braces. We shift our tack starboard and we head out to sea. Aberdeen bound. In 2 days we'll be home, and work will continue. The Lady Washington continues to turn heads. We passed Port Angeles, Washington, the final stretch of civilization along the southern shores of the Straits. The ship begins to pitch and roll as we enter open sea. For the next 2 days, we'll bob around like a rum cork in a washing machine. Lady Washington proudly enters Gray's Harbor, and we're home. The crew climbed down out of the rigging, back on deck, blast off the fore. And we're cleaned up, right in time to be a centerpiece in Aberdeen's 4th of July celebration. Students from a local school board to learn the workings of a tall ship. An expired emergency raft is thrown over the side to demonstrate our emergency gear. Away it goes, and within seconds it pops to life with the hiss of CO2. Stella, the ship's dog, is confined to quarters, while another dog comes to visit. No, ma'am, you can't go out there. The view from the top is amazing. The crew climb aloft to prep the ship to get underway. The students are taken up the Chehalis River and down again to see how the Lady Washington works. Before the crew can stand easy, 2 cannons must be unloaded. Finally, after a 12-hour day, 4 of that under sail, the crew wind down with a song. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a tall ship. This is Lady Washington.